lived for 300 years and you lived in France, Italy, and New York City. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is the Taylor Talks podcast, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm sure you can tell I've moved. I moved in with my best friend this past Sunday, and I'm all pretty much unpacked. Things are not perfect or where I would like them to be forever. Clearly, as you can tell, this is a mess, but there have been some life changes, and the only thing I can really say right now is I'm excited for the future and where that's going to bring me. But I haven't talked to you guys since I was in New Jersey. So after New Jersey, I went to Houston, Texas, and then I went to Orlando, Florida. And then I was home for a weekend, and then I went to Cleveland, Ohio. And I just got back I got back to Sioux Falls from Cleveland, Ohio on Friday. And then I moved October 1st out to Rapid City, which is 5 hours away from Sioux Falls. So, and I'm here until Sunday, and then I go back to Sioux Falls because I have to fly out to go to Reno, Nevada for another show for work. And so that was a lot of information as to why I have not been around. I still very much am here, and I want to create videos. My life has just become really, really crazy particularly in the past, like, 3 weeks. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've been working on recently, and I would love to know what you've been working on in the comments down below. It's probably going to be a pretty short episode. Yeah, let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is something I'm working on for my kitty Brew. You can't see her, but she's right next to the camera right now. So I had 3 of these Cozy Boucle, the Loops and Threads brand from Michaels. And this is in the color Cherry Pie. I don't think they have this one anymore. I am just going to make like 2 square-ish panels, sew them together, and then I have a lot of polyfill from when I thought I was going to get into amigurumi. So I'm going to use that, and then I think it's going to sit on the corner of my bed and it'll be a little kitty bed for her. So there's that. It does call for a 6mm hook. I'm using a 5.5 just so I could get this really like dense fabric here, and it's like really soft. I like it a lot, but like I didn't have enough for a blanket. I don't really use chenille boucle blanket yarn all that often. I just remember seeing it and being like, I have to have that, but then not knowing what to do with it. So I'm glad that it'll be something for Brew. I haven't made anything for her yet. It's about time. Next let's just do this one. So charity knitting crocheting is in full swing. I will make hats on my knitting machine. As you can see back there, there's like one that's like, if you can see it, working on hats, because like I also sell hats. But if it's like a yarn that like I'm not super excited about, I'll just like put it through the knitting machine and then I'll donate it. But a lot of these yarns like this that I got, if you saw I bought someone's yarn stash off of Facebook Marketplace. These don't go through my knitting machine very well, unfortunately. So I have to crochet them into scarves. Well, I don't have to do scarves, but I like scarves. So here's one, and then what I'm doing, I'm not going to sew in all the ends until I am about to go make a donation, which yes is like more work on the back end, but like clearly I'm more interested in trying to get through some of this than taking the time to weave in the ends right now. So that's kind of my thought process on that. And then let's hop into this little fun bag. I just got a couple of fingering weight skeins of this Kato Yarn Company in the colorway Tumbleweed. This is specifically dyed for Prairie Road yarn, so if you like this, you'll have to go to prairieroadyarn.com and order it off of there. I'm starting another Sub Pop tee. I did finish the one in Cranberry Scone, but I don't know where it is right now. Everything, like I said, is like not awesome, funky, fresh. But so I did cast on. Just have the collar done. And then you can also see I have these two little, I got new stitch stoppers, these little donuts, those are super fun. And then I have another one, another Sub Pop tee. This one is in Keenan Yarn Company, October Heather. Can't remember, did I show this on my last one? I don't remember, things have been so long. And like, this looks small, but I'm hoping it's got like the needles are just a little bit small, so I wouldn't be able to like try it on. But if you can tell, like underneath the sleeve has some like ease there, so I think that it'll be fine. It's so odd because same needles and the same size as the other one I made, and that one fit fine, so we'll see what happens. Little Christmas sock. We're starting on the heel flap, but I hate doing heel flaps, so I stopped working on it. But yeah, so that's all that's in here. I'm actually going to take this out because this cake is just not wanting to cooperate at all. I've had this skein of like very dark, beautiful red yarn in my stash for a little while. I originally bought it with the intention of knitting red socks that I can wear with my Doc Martens, but I've since realized that I've heard from a lot of other people, knitted socks break down fast and Doc Martens are very hard on socks. So I thought, well, I really want to wear these, like I have outfits in mind for them, so I'm going to make a pair of leg warmers to go over my Docs when I'm out wearing them, so then my Docs don't ruin like all the hard work of making red socks. So I started this today. This is how far I am. I'm just going to do some ribbing and then knit like a tube and then just ribbing at the end. To make these, I have like a pattern downloaded on my phone for just like the most standard vanilla sock. So I'm doing a medium size, which is like a cast on 64. And I'm just going to knit, and then I'm going to rib, and then I'm going to try and find a stretchy bind off to use. This is a Madeline Tosh yarn. It is a sock yarn, so it's like 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, something to that effect. And I just like, I'm really excited to have these. Plus, then it'll probably go faster than socks, since I wouldn't have to do the heel flap, the heel turn, the increases, decreases, all the very intricate things. And I feel like if they work out, that'll be another avenue that I can explore, since I really like knitting like small projects like that. That's why I like socks, so those are even easier. Next is what I was working on while I was in Cleveland. This is going to be a little Bolero. I am almost done with one sleeve, so it'll be kind of like this. This is made with Lion Brand Scarfy Light in the color Foliage. And let me tell you, I would never, ever, ever travel with this yarn again. If you can tell, it's really fluffy. And when you're traveling, I have my backpack and my carry-on, both of which have zippers. The yarn got caught in my zipper, the zipper of my backpack, of my carry-on, so many times I was about to pull my hair out. But I brought 5 skeins of that yarn, so I first actually made this. It's just another raglan. This one is actually, I don't know why this one turned out so much smaller. I used a J-sized hook and did about the same amount of increases as I normally would, but it turned out to be a little bit smaller than the sweaters I normally make. It still fits just fine, it's just a little bit more snug, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just I unintentionally made it, but it is so soft, and I am really excited to wear it this like fall, but it was a hassle and a half to make. So next I'm just going to show you this one purchase that I have. Since I've been making those Sub Pop tees, I've been thinking about maybe I should make one with long sleeves as like just a fingering weight sweater that sounds so like nice for fall. So I bought 5 skeins of this Malabrigo Mechita fingering weight yarn. It's 100% superwash merino wool, so it's not even something you'd want to make socks out of because you want that stretch, that nylon and stuff. It's in the colorway Jupiter. Just this very tonal red, pink, almost has like a purpley wash to it. So I'm really excited whenever I get around to casting this on. Clearly I've just been very cast happy. But I have other works in progress. I honest to God don't know where they are though. I mean, they're in a pile over here. But I'm not ready to tackle that yet. I think that's why I've kind of grabbed some stuff out. Like I've got yarn over here where I'm like, okay, let's like knit a few scarves to donate this winter, and then that'll be off my shelf and that'll open up some room. So yeah, I'm going to be in Rapid City this week, and then I go to Sioux Falls on Sunday, and then I go to Reno. And one thing and then I'll come back to Rapid City, and then I'm going to Minnesota to see my family the following weekend. I am going to the Cambridge Wool and Fiber Festival in Cambridge, Minnesota with my family. I'm really excited. We're going to go see sheep and look at pretty yarn. And I plan on not buying any yarn until I go there, and I don't plan on buying any yarn once I get back. And that is really hard. It has been... This is day 3 of not buying any yarn. I don't love it, but it's just hard. I went from having a 1-bedroom apartment with all the space I could want, living with a partner where I still had a ton of space, and now everything I have is just in here. But I think this is like the detox that I needed. Well, that I will need. Like I said, I'm excited for the future. I just don't know what it quite holds yet. And yeah. So shifting gears a little bit, I want to tell you, if you're just here for the fiber content, it's been so great having you. Now I'm going to shift into another thing that I really love, books. I've been listening to so many audiobooks this past month. I'm going to open up my Goodreads and tell you about the books that I have read this past month while traveling for work. So I think City of Glass, Immortal Instruments number 3 is where I'll start. So this book is like the conclusion of the first trilogy of the Mortal Instruments. I thought it was fine. I thought that it wrapped up pretty nicely. It's okay. The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz was so good. So this is a psychological thriller about a woman who wants to be a published author, but she wants to be a published author, and she gets accepted into this really prestigious writing retreat that is hosted by her favorite author. And weird things start happening in the house. They don't know why. There's like 4 other young women who are there, including like her ex-best friend. And it's actually very sapphic too. That was probably one of my favorite parts of it. I thought it was so good. That book was very, very good. Then I read City of Fallen Angels, which is the Mortal Instruments number 4. So it's like the first 3 and then the final 3. It's almost like 2 trilogies, but they encompass the same people. I thought that the way this book's storyline went was too quick. Like, what happened in the book could have been stretched out a lot, but it just went very quickly. I don't know. And then I read Beyond the Wand, The Magic and Mayhem of Growing Up a Wizard by Tom Felton. I really like celebrity memoirs. I think they're so fun. I know that they're not always the best. A lot of times they're written by ghostwriters. I don't care. And I listened to the audiobook. It was read by Tom Felton. I had a good time. I thought it was really interesting. I wish he had talked more about him going to rehab and recovering from his like substance abuse problems, and from what he made it sound in the book, it didn't sound super serious, but that it was becoming more serious. But that's why people under the age of 40 probably shouldn't write memoirs, because how much life have you lived? You know? I don't know. But overall, I thought it was quite good and entertaining and fun. Everything is Effed, a book about hope by Mark Manson. This book was also just like not very good. There wasn't much to it. It was like a bunch of blog posts in a bind-up. And then The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is my second V.E. Schwab book, and I'm just realizing that they might just not be the author for me. Nothing about Addie LaRue's character compelled me. Same with the love interest. Like, there was no reason for them to really be together other than, like, oh, he remembered her and, like, blah, 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 like, whatever his curse was. It just didn't resonate with me. I don't know, it just felt like a lot of nothing. The other book I've read by V.E. Schwab was The Night Circus, and I also did not like that one very much, so maybe I'll give them like one more try. But I also know that this is kind of an unpopular opinion about Addie LaRue, but I'm just like, you lived for 300 years, and you lived in France, Italy, and New York City. Chicago for a tiny bit of time. Like, you had all the time in the world, and yet you did almost nothing with it, is the way that it read to me. But please know, these are just my opinions. If you like these books, or even like if I mention that I don't like a yarn very much, all opinion based. I'm not trying to like put down what people like. The book, Addie LaRue, is a very popular book. I know that. And I can tell why, from reading it, why it became so popular. It just wasn't a book for me. And that's okay. But yeah, I think that is where I'm going to sign off for the day, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Comment down below what you're working on or what you're reading, and let me know how you're doing. It's been a while since I've been able to like come on and connect with you guys. I'm really happy to be back. I should have at least one more video up this week before I leave for Reno next week. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.